Well, if it's a tracking date where it's a band, um, I'll usually, in the session starts probably about 10 o'clock, and I usually get there about 9:30 or so to set up, which for me is taking my laptop nowadays, just with technology, just take my laptop, and sometimes I'll have my B3 carted over to the studio, which will either get there the night before or early that morning. That's usually set up and ready to go. Um, and just so I'm ready to play at 10 o'clock is, and that's different than the old days where it used to be that I would get my gear taken over there the night before and wire it all up and make sure everything was working and load it up. And it's just a lot simpler now than it once was. For most things, yes, I really appreciate the ease of having it all on the computer. It's all central. It's quick. You can dial up sounds. You can save sounds or combinations of sounds. Whereas it was tougher in the a few years ago when you had several different keyboards going, where you had to, you just have to document things and keep track of things. And now it's just so much easier to just keep record of it, I guess. It's just a lot different than it used to be. Where it used to be, everybody had to go to a real recording studio, to get anything done. So you'd always be going up to Nashville to a studio with all the players there and everything. Now, all the big studios have the same technology that all the people at home have. So it's just a matter of, do you need a big room to record in or not? And microphones are the, but a lot of guys have the same outboard gear and everything that studios have. So a lot can be done at your house that is as good as in a big studio. That's one thing I miss about the old days of where people weren't doing stuff at home as much, is that, like, if I would program a track, I would haul my stuff up to the studio, and then sometimes we'd spend 2 days just printing the parts of the track to tape, because the engineer would craft each sound to go in, just everything to sit perfect. Now, it's like I just render everything, it takes me like 20 minutes and there it is. And it's a little different because I'm spending time while I'm programming it, crafting the sounds and stuff and using plugins that would be similar to doing all that. But I miss the days of really getting to work with an engineer, especially on keyboard parts, where we really are just being real creative with the sonically and stuff. And just because when there's a couple people working on it, it's the synergy there really, I think you get a better thing in the end. But rather than sitting in front of a computer screen all day where I'm thinking, I think this sounds cool. That's another thing that's different, is that producers now half the time aren't even around. They drop off their FireWire drive and they pick it up the next day. And one thing that really gets me is they'll say, well, just go ahead and play that part through the whole song, and I can use it where I want it and take it out later. And my attitude is, why don't I play it where it's appropriate, and then it's done. But to have everybody playing all the time, it drives me. I guess that's a personal preference or whatever. I know a lot of guys make records that way, but I don't know. It's a bit aggravating to me.